Iran war just exploded, but Elon Musk's companies are quietly winning. Picture this: the biggest war in the Middle East in decades just erupted. February 28, 2026. US and Israeli forces launch massive strikes deep inside Iran. The supreme leader is reported killed. Iran fires back with waves of missiles and drones. Oil prices spike overnight. The Strait of Hormuz is suddenly in the crosshairs, and the world is holding its breath. But while everyone watches the explosions on TV, something else is happening behind the scenes. Something that could quietly reshape Elon Musk's entire empire. Some of his companies are taking hits. Others are already seeing unexpected surges. And one hidden shift no one is talking about could permanently change the balance of power in space, energy, and information. Stick with me because the missiles might be loud, but the real story is what comes next for Tesla, SpaceX, XAI, and everything Elon is building. Let us start with the raw timeline that changed everything in just 4 days. On February 28th, precision strikes hit key Iranian nuclear and military sites. Within hours, Iran launched hundreds of missiles toward Israel and US bases. On day 2, attacks struck energy infrastructure in the Gulf. By March 2nd, explosions were reported in multiple cities. Oil jumped more than 12% in a single session. Shipping routes are being rerouted, and markets are swinging wildly. This is not a limited conflict. It is already pulling in more players and more risk than anyone predicted just a week ago. And that speed is exactly why Musk's companies are feeling it so fast. Now look at Starlink, because this is where things get interesting. Iran has been blacking out the internet during the chaos. Traditional networks are failing or being jammed, but Starlink terminals are suddenly the most valuable item on the black market. Prices that were already high have more than quadrupled in days. People inside Iran are risking everything to get one online. SpaceX has a history of turning Starlink on for civilians in crisis zones. Will they do it again here? Iranian authorities are already trying to jam the signal. Engineers at SpaceX are fighting back in real time. This single war is proving that Starlink is not just the internet. It is becoming essential infrastructure when governments try to shut everything down. And that proof could open doors for SpaceX in ways no one expected. At the same time, X is breaking records. Elon confirmed the platform is seeing the highest usage in its entire history. Real-time videos are streaming from inside Iran, with unfiltered reports from Israel. Memes, analysis, and raw footage are flooding the timeline faster than any news outlet can keep up. When traditional media lags, people turn to X. This war is showing exactly why Elon bought the platform and why he keeps changing the rules. The information war is happening live on X, and Elon owns every second of it. Now shift to Tesla because the oil shock hits here first. Higher oil prices mean higher energy costs in the short term. Tesla factories feel that pain immediately. Supply chains for aluminum and shipping routes are already strained by the chaos in the region. But here is where the longer game begins. Every time oil spikes, electric vehicles look more attractive. The math for Robotaxi fleets and cybercab networks gets stronger. Governments facing energy security questions start looking harder at domestic electric vehicle incentives. Tesla investors are nervous watching the stock today. Yet this kind of global disruption has historically accelerated the shift away from oil. The war did not start because of Tesla, but it could quietly make the future of autonomy even more urgent. And then there is the bigger picture that ties everything together. XAI and Grok are seeing usage spikes as people search for real-time analysis during the crisis. Optimus and manufacturing face potential supply chain ripples if the conflict drags on. But the most important angle is Elon's unique position. His companies are now intertwined with geopolitics in a way no other CEO can match. Starlink is a tool of connectivity. X is the global town square. Tesla is the hedge against oil shocks. SpaceX is the future of launch capability if conflict spreads. One man's empire is quietly becoming part of the infrastructure of how the world responds to war. So let us bring every piece back together. The missiles are still flying, oil is still climbing, the conflict is still widening, but in the background, Starlink is connecting people who were never supposed to be heard. X is setting traffic records no one predicted. Tesla is watching an energy crisis that could accelerate the very future it is building. And Elon's companies are proving once again that they do not just ride the wave of history, they are becoming part of the wave itself. This war did not start because of Elon Musk, but the next 30 days will show whether these ripple effects are temporary shocks or permanent shifts that make his empire even stronger. the missiles will eventually stop. The real question is what the world looks like when they do, and where Musk stands in that new reality. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Which of Elon's companies do you think will feel the biggest long-term impact from this war? I will see you in the next one.